What's up? It's Matt. We are live with the 3 ways to grow your restaurant sales and profits. And what better way to start off with some words of wisdom from ManyChat CEO Mikkel Yang interviewing Daymond John, the shark from Shark Tank, FUBU, internationally known, unbelievable entrepreneur. So today we're going to talk about the 3 ways that your business can increase your sales and profits. They're not rocket science. I didn't create them, but they're 3 ways we've always worked on my end since 2008, and we've analyzed clients and how we can help them. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to start off with a short clip that ironically I watched this morning. This was a fireside chat that Mikkel and Daymond did last Friday. I saved it because I couldn't make it and I wanted to watch it, and I've been catching bits and pieces this morning. This part came on and I was like, wow, it makes sense to play this in here. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and we are going to dig into this.
Can you talk about the value of having that direct communication channel with your audience, selling directly? Like, how important is that? Or can businesses survive on just like billboards and just not really getting to know their customers?
Absolutely priceless. We're witnessing a time in our country and around the world, when people who are serving food or goods or services, their customers are down the block and they don't know who they are anymore because they're not walking in the door and they can't communicate with them. You know, listen. The reason I find that I have some level of success in the world is I go by the fundamentals. And there's 3 different forms of fundamentals. Number 1, there's only 2 ways to operate the business. You reduce costs, and I want everybody to write this down. 2 ways to operate a business. You reduce costs, you increase sales, right? Mm-hmm. There's only 3 ways to deal with a customer. Acquire a new one, upsell a current one, or make one buy more frequently.
That got my attention, as you can imagine, because that's what I talk about on a daily basis with our clients. And what I'm going to cover today is exactly that. So I want to make sure my screen looks okay here. It looks like it does. So we're going to talk about those 3 items that Daymond just mentioned. And that is new customers, repeat customers, and increasing your average check size. And I find a lot of businesses don't really subscribe to this concept when they look at all of their marketing tactics. And tomorrow I'm actually going to talk about one of the biggest problems that leads to this, but that's spending your marketing money and efforts to drive sales instead of a database. But today we're going to talk about why that's important. So let's dig into these 3 ways that Daymond and Mikkel were just talking about, that I've been talking about for a while, and I'm sure they've both been talking about for a while. And it's how to get new customers, how to get repeat customers, and how to increase your average check size. Now, I'm going to go backwards on this. So I'm going to start backwards. I'm going to start with increasing the average check size, because this is one that I see has a major issue with a lot of businesses. Number 1, what's wrong with the process? What I see that's wrong with the process is that you're relying on your staff to increase your average check size. Now, some places do this better. Some retail environments do this better than others. Restaurants traditionally don't do it well at all. And I ironically had a call yesterday with the restaurant owner who's got a great brand. I think she's been in business 26 years. And I said this in a polite manner. I said, you know, when we're talking about what we do, I said, increase the average check size. If I can find a way to help you increase your average check size through an appetizer, a dessert, a side they might not get, a upsized burger, a combo, something they might not have traditionally done, that's going to help you increase that average check size down the road on future visits. And I said, what happens is your servers are rushed. They're not real good salespeople. They're servers. It's just face it. That's what it is. You know, I'm not a good server. I would be a terrible one, but I'm a heck of a salesperson. And they also don't understand why they should be doing it most times. They don't understand the impact it has on the business and their tips, honestly. And she's like, Matt, let's face it, you're being kind. They're terrible at it. She's like, that's just what it is. My servers are terrible at getting people to try new things, increase their average check, add stuff. Here's how you fix that. You take it out of their hands, or at least you take the heavy lifting out of their hands. And what I mean is that you introduce them through digital marketing, through something they walk in the restaurant with in their hand. They're probably on it in their car before they come in. They're on it while they're waiting to be seated. They're on it while they're waiting for their server to walk over to get their drink order. They're probably on it distracted and not giving you the drink order quick enough. It's called their phone. And if you can give them something that takes care of them already in the upsell process, then you'll get there. What do I mean? I mean a free cookie, a free dessert, a free appetizer, a free upsize to a combo meal, something of that nature they traditionally wouldn't do. I bring this example up all the time. All the time. If you follow my content, you've heard me talk about the Roses and their chocolate chip cookies. Years ago, I wouldn't have gotten chocolate chip cookies from a pizza place, and we had a free promotion from the Roses. They gave me something that was going to increase my average check for years to come. They gave us some free cookies. And I'm like, free cookies? I go, why would you have cookies here? Like, I don't know, just to me, pizza and cookies go together. When I had their chocolate chip cookies, I was like, holy smokes. Well, guess what? Guess what we order every time? We order those chocolate chip cookies now. So we spend $5 to $10 more than we get every time we order pizza from them. It all happened because they put something in my phone and not in the hands of their server. That's the third way to increase your business, is increase that average check size. Now let's talk about the second part. How do you drive repeat visits? That was something Damon talked about. He talked about how do you get your customers to come back and buy more often? What's wrong with it now? What are you doing wrong with this process now? Well, you're hoping and praying they come back. There's another restaurant that I also use in my examples for the opposite reason of what the Roses did. I use Walt's Hitching Post. It's in Northern Kentucky. It's my favorite restaurant. They hope and pray that Matt Plapp comes back. Why do I say that? Because they don't do a good job, or they don't even do a job of reaching out to me. Love the brand, would love to do a case study with them eventually to show how it can increase their sales. But some restaurants aren't open to this type of stuff for whatever crazy reason. And when I say hope and pray, they don't have my email. They don't have my cell phone number. They don't have me subscribed to Messenger. They more than likely don't have me retargeted on Facebook, which because they're probably not using social media retargeting in a manner that would reach me. And when I say hope and pray, they're hoping and praying, like Mikkel mentioned, that I'll see a billboard, that I'll hear a radio commercial, that I'll see a TV commercial, that I'll see a direct mail piece that's stuffed with 50 of them. I actually did see one the other day, so they did reach me that way. It was a coupon and about 30 other restaurants' coupons. And that cracks me up because there's a lot easier way to do it. If you build a database of your known customers, you can get them back more often. And then if you build a deeper database of your known customers, you can get them back more often for very specific reasons. And what I mean by that is, imagine if everybody that walked in your restaurant and sat down, that you had a systematic way to say, Mr. Plapp, we'd love to give you a free steak your next visit. All you got to do is scan this code, go to this URL, answer 3 questions, and your next visit, you're going to have the steak that you love that you ordered today for free next as a thank you, and we're going to give you some VIP stuff down the road. People get addicted to coupons. They don't get addicted to free. I would never expect to get something for free very often. I would only expect to get it once, twice, or maybe perks down the road. But now all of a sudden, you have a database of, hey, this is Matt Plapp. He opted in from a chair in the restaurant. I know he's a customer. I can now systematically market to him via text and email and messenger and retargeting. But if you take it a step farther, and on that sequence of when you have Matt going through it, or maybe when he comes in the restaurant the next time, you find out, like in Messenger, it's easy. You find out right away when they opt in if they're men or women. You can find out with questions. Are you married or single? Do you come here for work or personal? Do you come here with your kids? Do you have no kids? Are you a frequent customer or lost? How often do you come in? Because a person that comes in every week, you're going to talk to differently than a person that comes in every 3 months. And so that is how you eliminate hope and pray, and you drive repeat visits on demand. Now let's go back to the very, very beginning of this, and let's talk about what you thought I might have talked about first was new customers. And you'll see that green box is still on there with current customers. Why is that still on there? Because current customers are the key to finding new customers. Most people do it wrong. They do a shotgun approach. And it's not necessarily, I guess I won't say it's wrong. It's just they're not optimizing it as time goes on, because I can turn a Facebook ad on today for a restaurant and I can target people that to me look like the avatar of that customer. that restaurant. And when I mentioned avatar, if you don't know what that is, look it up on Google, but it's pretty simple. It's where you sit down and say, okay, who is our average customer? Who is the ideal person we want to come here tomorrow and spend? We want Matt and Christy Platt. They have 2 kids. They live in this zip code. They make this much money. They drive this type of car. They eat out 5 times a week, whatever. You build an avatar, and that's who your marketing is targeted to. The message, the imagery, and also the targeting in the back of like Facebook and Instagram or Google, YouTube. Right now, people do that, and you can find new customers. Don't get me wrong. We do it all the time. That's how we find new people. But we optimize that approach a second way. We optimize it off of the data of your current customers, because what a lot of people don't realize is that you can leverage your current database and their data to find the right people. The typical Facebook and Instagram profile has an excess of 100,000 metrics behind it. If there's 100,000 metrics behind that profile, and you take, hey, Facebook, here's 1,000 people that have opted into our VIP program and spent money in the restaurant in the last, let's say, 90 days, and you're running your ads looking for people like that, you have a much better chance of finding the right people. And the very last line I put down here, this is something that Russell Brunson talks about in his Traffic Secrets book. And if you don't know Russell, look him up. He's got 3 books that I've read, .com Secrets, Expert Secrets, and Traffic Secrets, the most recent. But he talks about if you're going to use a platform to market your business, you have to understand the goal of that platform. In this case, we're talking about Facebook and Instagram. What is the goal of Facebook and Instagram? The goal of Facebook and Instagram is to deliver the most pertinent content to customers of the platform, users of it. Well, if your shotgun approach is getting your marketing out in front of people that, let's say, aren't your ideal customers. Like the other day on Instagram, I was served an ad from a restaurant in Texas. Well, Matt Platt lives in Northern Kentucky. That person went into Instagram, built an ad incorrectly, and they targeted probably the United States. Well, by me not stopping or not engaging or not taking the action of that ad, you just went against Instagram's goal, me to engage in that stuff. And so you get negative feedback. So they don't show your ad as much. They charge you more. But if you constantly are tweaking your ads and you understand how to find new customers by using your current data that we gathered in the prior part that we talked about right here, that we gathered that current customer database, and then we not only use it to drive repeat visits and to drive increased average check, we use it to drive finding our new customers. Now, let me show you the end game. Now, this is what we do. These things you can do your own, but I want to show you the end game. This is the end game. This is when you actually know what happens. This is a client of ours. They have 8 locations. They've worked with us right around 1 year. Those 8 locations over the course of a year have spent around $27,000. That $27,000 has gotten this social media down here, which is what all y'all get. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about spending to build versus spending to sell. Because a lot of people spend this 27 grand over 12 months over these 8 stores to get this down here. And if you do the math on that, what is that? 27 divided by 8, let's just say round up to 32 since my math, that's under $350 to $400. And you take that over the course of a year and you say, okay, we got 1.6 million impressions. Holy smokes, it's a ton. We got 23 engagements. That's where we're using Facebook's platform correctly, Instagram's platform. We're getting people to engage, 23,000 of them, 828 shares. But what's cool is that we use that to gather data. We use that to gather a database right here of 16,969 people. And of those 16,969 people, 35% of them walked in the restaurant and spent 73 grand. So a couple things happened. We got data from our advertising. So we helped Facebook and got engagement and optimized our campaigns by getting engagement of the right people. We then got opt-ins and 6,900 redemptions. So I can now tell Facebook and Instagram the exact people that are walking in the restaurant, find me more people that look exactly like these people. At the same time, I recouped my investment on the front end. We're not trying to make this program have a 1 billion to 1 ROI on the front. We're trying to have it, honestly, to have a 2 to 3 to 1 ROI on the front. Because if I can get my advertising spend back on the front end, And then tomorrow we're going to talk about, as I mentioned, spending to build versus spending to sell. The gravy of this program, where the rubber meets the road, is the fact that now you don't have to spend money anymore to reach these 16,000 people. You have their information. This customer, we actually started doing birthday and cell phone about 5 months after we launched the program, because we made some tweaks to what they bought from us. And you can see we have 16,000 emails, and we've slowly built up to 8,600 birthdays. And we're building up that cell phone database to 5,100. Now all of our customers start with all this because we changed some of our offerings. But at the end of the day, this client can reach out to people through retargeting on Facebook Messenger. We can retarget all 16,000 people on Facebook Messenger, on Facebook and Instagram, really, really, really easy and inexpensive. We can retarget them through email, free. We can retarget them based on their birthday, which is a very impactful day for eating out. And then we can also retarget a third of the audience on cell phone. But here's a really cool part, is when I talked about that deep data, I can look at this sales and see, hey, look at this. 29% of the sales came from new customers. 36 came from frequent customers, and 34 came from lost. So I can re-optimize. That's why we're able to have more new customers than normal, is I'm optimizing off for my frequent customers. My lost customers, hey, how do I get them back? I had a restaurant tell me recently that, Matt, when I owned a bunch of Subways, a restaurateur told me, so I owned a bunch of Subways, we found that we had a much higher rate of success with regards to sales by getting our lost customers back more often. Because a frequent customer, let's say they come in 20 times a year, to get them to come in 24, okay, maybe 30. That's a big jump because they're already frequent. Whereas a lost customer, it might come in 5 times. To get them to up to 20, if you do your job, isn't as hard, but you've got to know who they are. And all of that leads back to knowing how to find the right customers. So when I go back to this original slide, 3 ways to increase your restaurant sales: new customers, repeat customers, increase average check size. It all comes down to one thing: a database of your current customers. If you don't have a database of your current customers, you can't optimize correctly to find the right people. If you don't have a database of your current customers, you can't drive them systematically to be repeat customers. And if you don't have a database of your current customers, you can't drive those repeat visits to drive increased average check size. So that's all I've got today. That's what I wanted to talk about. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was impactful. Tomorrow, on Wednesday, July 22nd, I'm going to dig into spending to build, not spending to sell. You'll have to tune in to check that one out. And I got a couple more videos coming this week. And then I'm off for a week, heading on vacation with my wife. So hope you enjoyed it. Adios.